What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, four-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer SAUL Canelo Alvarez has just become the 168-pound super middleweight unified world champion. He is now the WBC WBA super middleweight world champion as he defeated Callum Smith. At the time was undefeated 27-0, 19 by way of knockout, who was the WBA super middleweight world champion. And point blank in period, Callum Smith did not come to win this fight. I'm happy that Demetrius Andrade, undefeated two-division world champion, who currently is the WBO middleweight world champion, superstar boxer. I'm glad Demetrius Andrade said it. He said it live on national TV as he stated, Callum Smith did not come here to win this fight. He did not have a game plan. He just simply came here to survive. And that's 1,000% the truth. And then they said, wow, Demetrius Andrade, those are some big allegations. And then I'm glad that Sergio Mora backed him up because they stated you had Chris Mannix and, Brian Kenny. They're like, well, that's not it. That's not true. He's doing everything he can. No, he did not. Okay. He did not come to win the fight. He did not exert himself. He did not throw anything with conviction. It looked eerie similar to when Canelo Alvarez defeated Sergey Kovalev. And when they stated this, after Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade stated that he did not come to win this fight at all, he's not asserting himself, he's not letting his hands go, he's not looking to win the fight, and he stated that this is not the actions of a champion. This is not the body language of a champion. And then Sergio Mora said, I have to agree with Demetrius Andrade when Chris Mannix and Brian Kenny tried to say, oh, those are huge allegations that Demetrius Andrade is placing on Callum Smith. Then Sergio Mora, they said, do you agree, Sergio Mora? He said, I have to agree with Demetrius Andrade. He is not letting his hands go. It's like he don't want to win this fight. And that is the body language of it. You have such a huge height and physical advantage over Canelo Alvarez, right? Callum Smith broke the record for amount of jabs in a fight. He holds the record for jabs landed and jabs thrown for the super middleweight division. He has a 7-inch height advantage with a 9-inch reach advantage with power and a great jab, and he did not let the jab go at all whatsoever. From the beginning of the fight, he was backing up. As soon as the bell rang, he started off the fight backing up. He did not want to assert himself. He did not let the jab go. How do a guy that has a disadvantage at 9-inch arm reach and a 7-inch height disadvantage, how does he throw more jabs and land more jabs than a guy that big with that many advantages? It's nearly impossible, okay? Because Canelo Alvarez, at the end of the day, he was only doing what Callum Smith allowed him to do. Callum Smith was backing up the entire time, letting Canelo Alvarez back him up. He was throwing and hesitating. He was throwing uppercuts. He would throw it and then halfway stop in the middle of throwing it, okay? He didn't commit to any of his punches tonight. And then he was laying on the ropes. In his corner in the 10th round, his trainer stated, I'm going to give you one more round unless you start letting your hands go. I'm going to stop the fight, okay? Callum Smith did not exert himself at all whatsoever. He came out looking to lose the fight. He came out looking to survive. And then from the 8th round on, he started looking up at the clock to see how much time was left in the rounds. You can see in the pictures that I put up that Callum Smith was looking up at the clock from the 8th, 9th round on to see how much time was left in the rounds, okay? That's not the action of a man that wants to win the fight. That's not the action of a man that's looking to win the fight. I said in my final breakdown video and prediction, I said that Callum Smith, if he asserts himself and uses his jab, this could be an easy fight for him to win. He started bending and giving up his height advantage, okay? I said in that video, if he doesn't come to win, he's going to get knocked out, okay? You can hear them raving about Canelo Alvarez's skill set and what Canelo Alvarez is bringing to the table. And at the end of the day, you cannot take anything from Canelo Alvarez because at the end of the day, Canelo Alvarez is only doing what he's supposed to do, okay? It's the level of opponent. They are reluctant to let their hands go, and it's not what Canelo Alvarez does great that makes them reluctant. They simply just do not come to win. Point blank and period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Callum Smith did not come to win tonight. Point blank and period. He got in the ring from the opening round. He was the bigger, stronger, more rangy man in the ring. Clearly, it almost looked laughable, the size disadvantage in the ring. And from the opening bell, he was backing up. For what? He did not stand his ground. You can hear Joe Calzaghe, who was also commentating from over in the UK. He was completely frustrated. He says he will not stand his ground. He will not let his hands go. I don't know what he's doing in there. This is what Joe Calzaghe said, the legend from the UK, retired undefeated. Demetrius Boo Boo Andre said that this guy did not come to win, did not let his hands go. And also Sergio Moro, who was a commentator on the panel, he also stated Callum Smith has no game plan and he looks like he did not come to win. He has to let his hands go and he's refusing to let his hands go. And it was nothing that Canelo Alvarez was doing because he wasn't letting his hands go from the opening bell. And it's completely frustrating to see this as a fan of the sport of boxing, first things first, okay? And this is eerie similar to and reminiscent of what Sergey Kovalev did. He was not committing to his jab. He was not committing to his right hand. He was not in there to win the fight, and neither was Callum Smith. And immediately from the third round on, the third round, you can hear them starting to make excuses talking about Callum Smith took this fight on short notice. That had nothing to do with it. Point blank and period. He made the weight. He was in the ring. He was healthy, and he didn't come to fight. He didn't come to win. Point blank and period. That wasn't the actions of a champion. That is disappointing to see as a fan of the sport of boxing. You have to put up some sort of resilience. You have to want to win the fight. And absolutely did not. You cannot tell me a guy that's Floyd Mayweather, who is significantly smaller than Sergey Kovalev and Callum Smith. You can't tell me that he was exerting himself, letting his hands go. Okay, now, yes, he's arguably the greatest boxer to ever live. But he doesn't have the power of Callum Smith or Sergey Kovalev. He's not the knockout artist they are, and he don't have the size advantage or the reach advantage that they did in the fight over Canelo Alvarez. But he let his hands go. Erislandy Lara, he let his hands go. He arguably won the fight against Canelo Alvarez. But Erislandy Lara let his hands go in the second half of the fight. In the first half of the fight, he clearly won the fight. He was clearly winning the fight. In the second half of the fight, Erislandy Lara started using unnecessary movement, which saw him lose on the scorecards, okay? He wasn't nearly close to getting knocked out. He wasn't taking big punches, right? He was letting his hands go. He was mixing it up. He was outboxing Canelo Alvarez because he came to win. In the second half, he thought he had it in the bag, and he started using unnecessary movement and wasn't letting his hands go. And thus the reason why he lost on the scorecards in a fight that people still thought he won the fight. So that just lets you know how effective Erislandy Lara was at letting his hands go. And we know Floyd Mayweather was letting his hands go, connecting on him, making him miss, outboxing him. But he was letting his hands go. Callum Smith wasn't letting his hands go. He didn't commit when he did let his hands go. He wasn't throwing any punches with conviction. Neither was Sergey Crusher Kovalev. And it's completely frustrating as a fan to see this from his opponents. Now, as a fan of Canelo Alvarez, if you're a bend over hard body fan of Canelo Alvarez, then guess what? You're gonna ride with these outcomes regardless. Okay, but the fact remains is that these opponents, Callum Smith, Sergey Kovalev, they are not committing themselves. They did not commit to any of their punches. They weren't throwing any punches. They weren't committing to their jab when they have a distinct jab advantage, size advantage, reach advantage, physical advantage over Canelo Alvarez, and they were not using it. They did not commit to it, and it's completely disappointing, to say the least, okay? Because there's no way that you have nearly a 10-inch arm reach advantage with power and a 7-inch to at least 7 to 8-inch height advantage over a guy, and you're weighing more than him, and you don't commit to your jab at all whatsoever. Callum Smith did not use his jab at all from round 1 to round 12. And from round 8, he was looking up at the clock, just trying to survive. That lets you know everything you needed to know about this fight. Now, kudos and congratulations to Canelo Alvarez, because he's only doing what he's supposed to do. So I'm not saying this to take anything away from Canelo Alvarez, but the facts are the facts. His opponents were not putting up any type of resistance, point blank and period. Now, he was in there doing what he needed to do. He was letting his hands go. He was closing the gap. he was just coming forward because Callum Smith was giving up ground. He wasn't standing his ground. As soon as the bell rung, he was taking steps back. So Canelo Alvarez had no choice but to come forward. He had no choice but to come forward anyway because he was at a size disadvantage. He had to close the gap. Okay. Now, hopefully, we see a fight. Now, Caleb Plant, undefeated IBF super middleweight world champion, superstar boxer. He has a fight coming up against Truers, and that's in January, I believe. And they're looking at a unification bout. But I'm of the belief that Caleb Plant is going to come to win the fight. Okay, he's not going to put up this type of effort in this fight, point blank and period. Caleb Plant is going to come to win the fight. That's just the bottom line. I do not see this type of outcome from Caleb Plant at all whatsoever. I think that Caleb Plant is stylistically a great fighter. He's a boxer. He's 20-0, 12 by way of knockout. He fights Caleb Truitt. This is January 30th. He fights Caleb Truitt. Then after that, hopefully they can make a fight between Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez. Caleb Plant also has a size advantage at 6'1" with a 74-inch arm reach, 28 years old. He's not the biggest puncher, 20-0, 12 by way of knockout, but he's a slick boxer that has power, and he will let his hands go, point blank and period. So I can't wait to see how this all unfolds, but congratulations to Canelo Alvarez, man. And I'm not interested in seeing Callum Smith fight ever again, point blank and period. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.